eat chocolate? If you do, you have to stop eating chocolate. I know you'll be asking me why. I need you to watch this video to the end, and I will tell you the reasons why you should stop eating chocolate. Each time you consume chocolate, have this in your mind. Thousands of children in Africa don't go to school. They are busy working in cocoa farms, used as child labor. Thousands of them.
I don't want my children to become farmers because it is hard for us. We don't earn anything.
Cocoa farmers live with just $1 below the $1.9 set forth by the World Bank for those that are highly impoverished. Look at the bars of chocolate. Look at this picture representation. You realize that farmers get only 6.6% out of the profit made from chocolate industry. Just 6.6%. Now, there are 2 million farmers in Africa and they get just 6.6% out of $108 billion industry.
The price of cocoa, 825 francs CFA, is too little. Cocoa hasn't been fruitful. We haven't earned much yet. There are a lot of problems.
I want to warn Nestle. I want to warn Mars. I want to warn Nestle or Hess, whatever it's called. I want to warn the US. I want to warn Belgium. This Netherlands. I want to warn you. This is a warning. It's coming from a young African who has seen his parents suffer. I came from a home where my parents were cocoa farmers. I want to say this. There will be a time when you don't have a single cocoa beans. We are the highest producers. 70% of cocoa comes from Africa. We are the highest producers of cocoa in the world, but you are the highest distributor without a single cocoa farm. And you are reaping off the profit of these farmers in Africa. A sector worth 100 and something billion US dollars annually. Farmers get only 6.6% out of that amount of money. It is wickedness. Because I don't think if we had such a farm in the US, farmers, these cocoa farms were in the US or in Netherlands or in Belgium, farmers will be treated the way they are treated.
With every bar sold, it's likely to make its consumer happier and the manufacturer richer. Yet, over the years, the cocoa farmers have become poorer with every pod harvested to make the same chocolate. And this is the story of farmers in West Africa, particularly in Ivory Coast, which is the world's leading producer by supplying 40% of the world's cocoa. Now, more than half of Ivorian producers live below the poverty line, according to the World Bank. And there's a number of reasons for this, including climate change, deteriorating soil quality, but notably low prices that are due to the forces of demand and supply dictated by wealthy foreign markets.
Farmers are being exploited. You are making massive profits. There will be a time when you will not find a single cocoa beans. And to every government, if you are a leader in Ghana, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Cameroon, wherever you are, if you are a leader, you have to start looking at the issues that affects your people, especially farmers. These farmers are suffering every day. The children have left school. They are school dropouts because they want to help their parents in cocoa farms. Child labor, that is what we have here. Women today, they can't do farms. They don't own farms. They are there with their husbands every day and night, going through stress. There's a lot of exploitation in the industry. This is what we have become. So I want to say this. It is about time we start taking action and start looking at this critically. The profit should be shared to everyone. It is a value chain and everyone should be able to have a piece of it. But when it gets to the point where the main producers of this are suffering, then it is not good. I'm called on the UN. I call on all these bodies that be FAO, World Food Program. I call on all these agencies. It is about time we start taking action. I call on the AU. This is a sector with 2 million farmers, 2 million people. If you want to combine those that are involved directly or indirectly, it's about 50 million people. And these people are in poverty. They are dying. It is about time we do something. Now, how do you expect them to feed their families? How do you expect them to send their kids to school? How do you expect them to survive? And presently, they are even being hit hard because of COVID-19, climate change, conflicts are happening. So each time you consume chocolate, know that it's blood chocolate. And people are dying to produce this thing you're consuming. So it is time that we look at this. So a lot of you will talk about food processing, that we should transform the cocoa back home. and adding value is important. Yes, adding value or processing cocoa to chocolate in Africa is very important. But the problem is we are not yet at the point where we have the capacity to be able to transform the cocoa to chocolate. Why am I saying this? Africa has very poor infrastructures, which means it is not just about having a factory. You need to get the cocoa to the factory. You need to be able to bring byproducts in which you need to produce chocolate. And most of these products have to be imported from different countries all over the world. We are looking at the health sector. We are looking at so many different things involved. We are looking at long-term agreements in which we've signed with different companies abroad. Some of them are 10 years contract to supply them. So how do we break this? We are also, there are so many reasons why it is almost impossible for us to be able to process chocolate back home in Africa. So if we cannot process, it is not a must that we must process. Just producing and selling should be able to yield profit in any business you do. At least 100% profit should be able to be made. But we are not making this money not because there is no profit in the sector. The sector is extremely profitable. Like I earlier said, it's a $108 billion revenue annually from this sector. But just 6.6% comes to the farmers. So this is what I'm saying. We should be able, while we are looking at transforming, we cannot wait for that long. It could take us 5 years, 10 years to be able to get good roads, to be able to get everything in place, the know-how to process, so many things are involved. But for now, we as farmers should be able to benefit from just producing and selling.